November 19th will come to order.
Commissioner Abraham,
Present.
Commissioner Galt,
Present.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Here.
Commissioner Wilson,
Present.
Mayor Kayler.
Present. Tonight, I think all of us have friends or relatives, acquaintances that have been impacted by the devastating storms that went through on Sunday. And I think we, realize once again what a compassionate community we live in, the way people have reached out to help. I think the residents of Brookport have been overwhelmed with generosity. So tonight, I would just like for us to take a moment of silent prayer for the victims of the tornadoes. Amen. Tonight we have with us Michael Ellen Walden, and she's with Paducah-Tillman High School. She's a freshman there. She's going to be doing our Pledge of Allegiance with us. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As always, we appreciate the Paducah-Tillman High School staff, students coming here and helping us with our Pledge of Allegiance. Are you also in the speech?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. We have a couple of presentations tonight. I've got Donna Raines here tonight. She's just going to give us a quick update on the pink glove dance. Thank you, Donna, for coming.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Here to tell you a little story about the power of pink. First, if you want to take a couple and pass them, you can get in the mood. 3 years ago, Baptist Health Paducah entered its first National Pink Glove Dance Contest, not really knowing what to expect, but knowing that we wanted to share a message, an important message, and that is that the early detection of breast cancer through mammograms can save lives. So employees got together that year and danced in front of the camera and entered this national contest, and voila, we ended up 8th in the country. So we thought, wow, we've got something going here. So we entered again last year, and then this year we decided to really go big and involve our community. So we have special thanks to Paducah-Tillman High School, McCracken County High School, Mayfield High School, our professional football player George Wilson, our esteemed mayor and the Mayfield mayor, and lots of other breast cancer survivors, as well as the employees at Baptist Health, who danced this year and voted and shared the video, and we ended the 2-week online voting contest this year 4th place out of 106 in the country, lost to places like Penn State. But we also were recognized in a couple of other categories. We received an honorable mention for having the most people in our video this year. We had more than 14,000 involved by going to 2 ball games. We were at the historic very first ball game between McCracken County and Paducah-Tillman, the football game there, and then 2 weeks later, the 100th anniversary of the Mayfield-Tillman game. So we involved lots of people at those games, had them wearing the pink gloves, and reminding them to have the women in their lives get those mammograms to save lives. So we received the award for the most people in the video. We also received a 3rd place award from School Health for involving schools, and with that award came a cash prize that goes to our beneficiary, the Kentucky Cancer Program, and its Horses and Hope program. And finally, this year, the contest had a different requirement, or a new requirement, in that we had to raise money in order to even enter the contest. So before we could submit our video, we launched a fundraising campaign for a new fund at Baptist Health Paducah called Your Fight. Our employees started that fund just a couple of months actually before we entered this contest, so this gave us a perfect opportunity to launch awareness of this fund. and we raised more than $16,000 for that fund, which stays here. It helps local cancer patients. It improves cancer services at the hospital. So we just have a great big thank you to our community for helping us once again make this statement on the national stage.
Well, thank you, Donna, and I know you've worked extremely hard on this, and really appreciate your effort and the effort of all those at the hospital. And, you know, you're still to be congratulated. I mean, being fourth out of the whole country is pretty good.
Yeah,
Really
that's
is.
great.
We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think he wants to do a little wave or something. You know, for it.
There you go.
And you can still see our video at pinkglovedance.com. The voting is over, but the videos stay up all year. So go watch it if you haven't already. The song this year was called Change the World, and indeed that's what we were trying to do. You know, one test at a time, we're trying to help women. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Donna, you want
And next we have John Hodges here with us tonight, and he's with the Paducah-McCracken County Joint Sewer Agency Project, and he's going to do a briefing for us.
Give me set up here. Appreciate you guys letting me come and talk today. Just wanted to be real brief. I didn't. Most of the times when I show up, you have a pretty packed agenda and don't really want to talk about the number 2 business as Alan was talking about before we got started. Just wanted to update the commission on a few of the things that we've just finished up and a few of the projects that we've got here that may impact the city or some of the city residents. First thing, of course, we do sewer rehabilitation projects every year. It's really about a $750,000 project that we do. This year we've done about 14 to 15,000 linear feet of pipe, and we have focused in the city at Walter Jeton Boulevard, kind of around the Branch area, and in Forest Hills. So we continue to do, but that's an annual deal. That's exactly, by the way, what most people say. I had lunch with my board chairman, and I showed him a manhole that was pink, and he said colonoscopy. That's right, yes. We did finish. You can see the line in the red. That was a project that we talked about for several years, Massac Creek Interceptor Phase 1. Kind of put it in perspective, you can see the Information Age Park is kind of the shaded area at the south. The purple area over there on the left is the airport. Massac Creek Interceptor project is a project that was pretty well needed for a bunch of different reasons. The first one is if you go down to the Information Age Park, the Information Age Park was served by a pump station that was about the same size pump station that serves a neighborhood called Barrington Woods out there in Lone Oak. I don't know if you're familiar with the size of that. So when you go and you're adding all the extra infrastructure, the teletech and the nursing home and the things that are going on out at the Information Age Park, just to be quite honest, if we'd not done the Massac Creek project, we wouldn't have had. We've got the line capacity for it. We did not have the pumping capacity for it. So to build the interceptor, to finish the first phase, which was always planned, and now we pump that flow back straight to our treatment plant. The second reason for the project, if you look at the orange line that I've highlighted, it looks like a fairly main artery in the system. That is what we call the Perkins Creek Interceptor. We name all our lines, we name all our pump stations either by the street that they're by or by whatever creek or whatever they're by to help us when we're responding. Perkins Creek Interceptor was built back in the 70s and the 80s. And it basically drains all of Lone Oak, everything west of I-24, mall, everything. And you're going to see my graphic ability here. The sewer main on your left is really what you look at. I know most people think, well, when you have a pipe, you're assuming that the pipe is full. You know, water lines are full, gas lines are full, and you think that's how it's supposed to be. Well, in the sewer business, you're actually not supposed to be that way. You're supposed to be less than half full on a dry day, because your system is designed back in 1920, it's going to leak, and you want your rainwater and things that leak in. We don't have leaks that go out for the most part. We have leaks that come in. You want to have that room for it. Well, if you look at the pipe on the right, that's pretty much how the Perkins Creek Interceptor is on a dry day. So when, and if you remember Doug Moore, he was at the sewer when he and I both showed up, got to looking at that, that's not the way you're supposed to have that. That is very bad, because if you get to a point where some of your compliance folks find out about stuff like that, they do what they call a tap-on ban. And what that does is that prevents you from allowing any new structures to be added on to that system until you solve the problem. So by doing the work that we're doing, we're helping to prevent that. The first phase of the interceptor that you saw was really necessary so we could build this second phase. If you look there, you'll see the information age park is now at the north of your plan of your drawing, and the red line that we've built is continues south. You can see all the little blue dots on the paper there. Those are pump stations, and we have an inordinate amount of pump stations. We have probably 30 or 40 more pump stations in Owensboro, and they treat about twice the flow that we do. Even though we have as much infrastructure as Owensboro, we treat about half the flow. Or get paid for about half the flow. We actually treat far more than that. But so we've taken off 4 pump stations with the Phase 2 project. You can see the little blue subdivision directly south of Information Age Park. That's Blandville West. That's a private package plant. That's a private system with their own little private treatment plant that's under duress, under environmental issues. They want to capitulate. They want to come to the sewer. So we have a red line there where we've built to take them out of service, to own the collection line and to have them the main part of the collection system. The other one that you see down there, the purple, is called Terra Verde. They're in the same situation. And they've come to us wanting to hook on to the new sanitary line and basically go out of business so that those customers would be, instead of private customers, would be part of the public network. So we've done 4 stations. You can look and see all the blue dots. You can tell we got a long way to go, a lot of work to do. If you look at the cost of Phase 1, it's about $9 million. Phase 2 is about $4.7 million. Now we had the good fortune to get some grant money, over $3 million, to help pay for that. But we've got to keep going. So to look at what we have coming on this fiscal year, we're going to do more projects to eliminate more pump stations to take them by gravity. You can see on the thing we have a pump station called Chickadee, which is very close to the interceptor. We're going to do that project this year. And then there's another project over there, another lift station called Gatewood, which is close to Terra Verde, and we're going to be able to gravity that now that Terra Verde is going to come into the fold. Those projects really don't affect city residents, but it's an important part of the compliance work that we're doing. Another job that we've got going on out there on Clarks River Road that we're looking at, you can see the main pump station I have marked there, Cook Street Pump Station. The red highlighted lines are lines that we've rehabbed, lines that we've gone out and put new liners in and leak-proofed. We've done quite a bit of work in the Cook Street drainage basin, fixing a lot of pipe, doing a lot of manhole work. And we have a good new pump station that we've built. We still have some what they call infiltration and inflow. That's water leaking into our system. If you look at it, all of your private laterals still have not had any work done. They're still old clay pipe. We've drastically reduced the amount of flow that comes into us, but we still need to do a little bit of work here. The next phase, which I think instead of spending several $1 million more rehabilitating in this system, most of the pipes are in good shape. We're going to build what they call an overflow tank. It's a little bit more cost effective, and we're actually working with John Perkins and people in the finance department on some property acquisition out there. That project, if we can have a good progress on the property acquisition, we're going to do that this summer in 14 as well. Another project that we've had some good luck on here that does impact the city and an industry here in town. James Marine runs the Walker Boatyard. Walker Boatyard has another private package plant. They have their own private treatment system. They're not hooked to the public sewer. That's over there close by the river. Of course, in 2011, that was underwater for a good 2-3 weeks. That's not what Division of Water wants. That's not in their top 10 list, is for you to have a submerged treatment plant, because you can imagine where all the material from the treatment plant went into the river. Because of that, we've been able to partner with those guys They came to us. They want to hook on to sewer. As a developer, they're required to build the infrastructure to come to us. However, we work with them, served as an applicant for them with the Economic Development Administration, and we got about $425,000 in grant money to help cost the project. It's an 80-20. They're going to provide the 20% local money, and we're going to serve as the applicant, so we'll have to administrate the project. That's going to get them out of the package plant business, and it's going to save them money going forward. So we are working with those guys to do that project right now as well. Finally, what I actually came here tonight for, and I didn't want to take too much of your time, but I did want to update you on what we're talking about and what we're doing. Nothing has generated more interest in the sewers. We have dug 42 feet deep in other areas and done all kinds of work. But you go out over there by Walgreens and you dig a big hole and put a bunch of metal pipes in the ground, and you will get all kinds of people that question what you've got going on. That is one phase of the work that we're going to be doing in the Wallace Park subdivision area to separate the sewer. If you remember, Paducah was built well before treatment plants were actually utilized. It was just take it to the river. And so a lot of the piping that was built in the city of Paducah conveys both your stormwater and your sanitary in one pipe. Obviously, that's frowned upon now. And what we have is, like you see that pink line there, that is actually a storm line that serves as a regulating line. So when you have a rain event, we obviously take what we call the first flush. Most of your contaminants will come to the treatment plant, but you will have diluted sewage that can be overwhelmed. Our treatment plant's not designed to treat all of the storm sewer in Paducah. It's just too much. And on that topic, we actually generate, Covington, SD1, Louisville puts out about 3 billion gallons a year in combined sewer overflow. Covington, which is SD1, 3 counties right below Cincinnati, Boone, Kenton, and Campbell, put out about 2 billion. Well, as Paducah, we can put out about 1.4. So we're not that far behind in storm sewers that act as sanitary as far as the total flow. The forefathers here did it right. They didn't mess around. They went full force on it. What happens is you have regulator points and things that are permitted that allow the flow to come to our plant during a normal day, and after a certain amount of rain, it kicks off and goes through a regulator and discharges through a storm line. Our goal is to eliminate that as a discharge point. Of course, we are under a compliance action with EPA, just like the rest of the 770 combined sewer towns in the nation. And this job's going to cost us probably around $4 million when it's all said and done. It's a better investment because you're going to help that community separate those sewer lines. Some of those people have basements that can have a backup due to all the stormwater trying to get into the same pipe that they're flushing their toilet in. And so we feel like it's a better cost-benefit analysis for the people of Paducah. The alternative, because we're going to have to do something, is to build a treatment plant at the end of that storm line. We will have to do that in several locations no matter what. But if we can eliminate the need for one of those, which we did at Bridge Street last year, what you save is a recurring operating cost, and you're no longer beholden to treatment standards with the EPA. They can change the rules on you at any time. They do that all the time, and I tell my board, you just need to be prepared for that. That's how that goes. So we're moving on in the design phase of that project. Real reason why I came today, just to let you know, we have done some communications with the residents there. First letter we sent out to them was in summer of 2012. Then we had an informational meeting. A lot of people don't come to informational meetings for the sewers. It's just not super popular. We didn't have great attendance. We sent out another letter to residents in the fall of 2012, and then I showed up at a meeting that Independence Bank had to talk about the park in September of 2012. Had a little bit better attendance there. And then we went door to door and went into people's houses and took pictures of their connections and talked to them. Not everybody answered the phone when we called. And as we get closer and closer, of course, the big hole, people will call in when they see a big hole. They know you're coming. And we, of course, sent a letter to them before we started that so that they wouldn't worry about that being the start of the project down their neighborhood. So we have actually sent out another letter here in the last week or two. We're going to have an informational meeting at Paducah Middle School on Thursday at 6 o'clock for them to come. I'm going to talk a little bit about the project, talk about what we're doing and why, and then to give them an opportunity to, if they haven't provided us with some information, they can provide us with some information. We're not done with our design. We're still working on it, but we're looking at probably a summer letting on that project. Now, that's going to be a very difficult project for us to do, probably one of the more complex projects that we'll ever do. And we will have to separate. If people have gutter downspouts, we're going to have to separate those. So we're going to have to do work in people's yards. That's just how that's going to have to go. And we're going to do it at our cost, and we're going to work with them on that. And so probably there's maybe 80 houses that we're going to need to work up in their yard for. And I think, you're going to get a mix. I think there's been several people that have been very positive about the job because they've had issues and they want to see if we can help them. And then, of course, there's some people that it never hurts. They're on top of the hill, but we still need to take those downspouts, and we need to get them out of that storm line. Of course, we dig all the time. I mean, you just saw we dug a big hole out there at Independence Park, and you can look now, and it looks pretty good. We did Bridge Street last year. We do construction projects all the time. And there's Bridge Street on the left. You can see it's a messy thing when you dig for sewer lines. But you can see on the right, and when you drive out there now, that's what it looks like. So it's a process to get where your end result is, but we intend to do that. So just wanted to let you know what we were doing. And then, of course, if you got any questions, I'm always available to answer those. And
I know the Bridge Street project turned out really well because you got the new road.
Yeah, Bridge Street, we
Reline.
work with Highway Department. We'd always talk with Lefevre, and I always had told him, you get to paving that street, I've got some work I've got to do prior to that. And we timed that project where we benefited from their traffic control. So,
And of course, we did, not too long ago, we did a street resurfacing program in Wallace Park, and you've told me.
yeah, what we'll do there,
You're
absolutely.
redoing that, so.
Yeah, anywhere where the city has gone back probably in the last 5 or 6 years, I think I talked to Rick about it, and paved and redid the gutter. We'll do gutter to gutter repaving. We won't just you can drive down streets all the time and see a Paducah water dig or one of our digs. You can see the little concrete trench or whatnot. In the places where you guys have gone in the last 4 or 5 years, rehabilitated the pavement, we're gonna restore that back to the way it looks. There's some other pavement out there, I think, and if you talk with Rick, and we're gonna work with him, that haven't been repaved in quite a long time. You may see those trenches there, but we'll work with Rick on all that. That's our intention.
Any questions for John?
Thank you.
Can't be funny. I'm sorry. Keep y'all lively, but thanks a lot.
And I see that you're sponsoring the Chamber of Commerce State of the City and County for the judge and I.
That's right.
We always appreciate your help.
Well, once again, people don't come to sewer meetings unless somebody else is talking. So it's a requirement for us, really, with our compliance action. I need to be in front of people, and I can actually get in front of people. So I time myself. I know I've only had 5 minutes at the Power and Partnership, but I make sure I get all 5. And I may every now and
You may cheat a little.
may cheat a little bit.
All right,
Thank you.
it's important.
Thank you, John.
Any additions or deletions?
No, ma'am.
Manager?
Guaranteed. Gotcha.
Okay, we'll go into ordinance introduction. Mr. Abraham, please.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a loan commercial guarantee instrument with Regions Bank for the benefit of the Greater Paducah Economic Development Council, GPEDC. This ordinance is summarized as follows. That the City of Paducah hereby authorizes the mayor to execute a commercial loan guarantee instrument with Regis Bank in the maximum amount of $341,437.97.
Second.
City Manager, do you want to talk on that?
Well, this is actually a recommitment to a loan guarantee that dates back over about 10 years that the city had formally made in partnership with the county. So we determined that the city's authorization to continue signing this needed to be renewed. So that's the purpose of this ordinance, is to renew the city's commitment and authorize the mayor to extend the guarantee. By the way, the principal of the loan has been reduced by approximately 25% over that period of time. It's not clear to us at this point what the timeline might be for continuation of this loan by PED. I believe the board or the executive committee will be discussing that in the next day or two.
And be glad you're not mayor, because they want my social security number and my driver's license for that. All right, city manager's report.
I want to mention with respect to the report emergency situation that the city did have several emergency units. Both our chiefs of police and fire were there. We had, 4 squad cars, chief, patrolling Sunday afternoon, evening, into the wee hours, I'm sure. We had some fire apparatus there, and our fire department was integrally involved in the search rescue operations that were being conducted in the hours after the event. So we're very proud of those people and happy to have been able to assist our neighbors in that way. I've asked Superintendent of Public Works Rick Murphy to come forward and share progress on 2 of our major public works projects tonight, one being the boat launch and the other one being the current extension of the hike bike trail. And there he is.
Mayor Commission, with regards to your 2 projects, I'm very pleased to announce that we are nearing the completion of our boat launch project. We're actually putting the paving stripes that are in the parking lot and finishing up that project. If you've not been down there in the past few days, I would invite all of you to go down there and see that. We're actually assembling the dock and putting the dock on the rails. It's not on the rails yet. It will be by the end of the week. And we're very proud of this project. Getting a lot of traffic, even though it's not open yet. We're getting a lot of traffic from the river industry as well, because they've already found a nice place to come and load groceries and do things that they need to do on the river. So it's already attracting a lot of attention there. I would ask, take an opportunity to reach out to the river community and say, be mindful of that area, because as the barges move in or nose into that, it could cause some damage to our new infrastructure there, and especially during high water. But we'll be working with the river industry on trying to figure out how to best communicate with that riverboat pilot in 3 o'clock in the morning when he's moving in to stage for a lock or wait a little while. The other project with respect to the Greenway Trail, Phase 2, that stretches from I would say, the Brookport Bridge area to the up and over ramp there at the skate park, is moving along very, very well. We anticipate completing that portion of the project from the skate park to Cairo Road. We're most likely going to shut that project down here in the near future because we have some bad weather coming on. And I have asked that the contractor go ahead and put in the sign package that's on Cairo Road, because even though we're in the middle of the construction, we're having a lot of use of the project during the construction. So we want to go ahead and put that in. But that project is moving along very well. We will not do any of the tunnel work in this construction season. We'll be ending that. That will be coming on in the spring. So again, during the winter shutdown, that project will be incomplete. And we're trying to take some steps with the project to make it safe. But even though the project extends from Noble Park to the Brookport Bridge, it will not be complete, but it will be used.
Is that going to be concrete?
Yes, ma'am.
I noticed they had the gravel base laid.
Yeah, if you were to go out to the skate park and go up onto the that ramp that goes up and over the flood wall, you would see concrete extending from there all the way to Cairo Road.
Okay, good.
Oh, the concrete
Oh, good.
In this season, will you get the concrete from O'Carroll Road to?
No, we're Commissioner Rose, we're running into some bad weather, and the top of the levee is getting moist, and it won't sustain the truckloads, the concrete truckloads repeated coming in on it. So we're working with the contractor and picking the best shut-off time for that.
So that'll just remain in rock for now.
Mhm. Exactly. The rock is actually in place up to the farm field entrance near the Brookport Bridge area. But that portion is, we might have people walking it, but that's not a portion that we really would prefer anybody be walking in that area, because it is a little bit more open as far as open construction.
Okay. So we'll have a celebration in the spring on that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
You might recall we advised the commission and the community last spring that the bike path going across where the road will go down to the boat launch was temporarily closed last spring, so that a buildup could be done across the road to allow trucks to get across it without damaging the bike path. I'm happy to report tonight that neither was the bike path damaged, nor did the built-up road keep many people from crossing the bike path, so including me. That's all I have, other than requests for executive session for two purposes. Number one, economic development. Number two, personnel.
Any mayor or commissioner comments? Commissioner comments tonight? Anything you're thankful for?
Yes, now that you mentioned that, with thankful for a lot, as I'm sure we all are. This storm, I was at work at the gym on Sunday when all the bells and whistles started going off, and driving from the sportsplex back toward my house, I'm looking through the rearview mirror, and it reminded me of how quickly things can change. And it reminded me of family, and there sometimes, everybody has issues within their family, and you fall out a little bit and you think that's a big deal. And then Sunday happens and everybody's okay, and then you realize, what were we arguing about? So it's kind of a wake-up call of how quickly things can change, and how we should appreciate each other, because that really put things in perspective on Sunday.
It really does. You tend to worry about things that you think are so important that you might not be able to get through the day because it's bothering you so
Right.
much, but really it's not that important. You have your home and your family, and that's what's important. You're right. And it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas around here. Public Works and the Parks Department is busy getting all the trees up and the garlands, and getting the lights downtown, and so it's really a happy time of the year, so we're glad to see that. So, we have any public comments tonight? Okay, Commissioner Galt, you have the executive session.
I do. I move that the board go into closed session for discussion of matters pertaining to the following topics: issues which might lead to the appointment, dismissal, or disciplining of an employee as permitted by KRS 61.8101F, a specific proposal by a business entity where public discussion of the subject matter would jeopardize the location, retention, expansion, or upgrading of a business entity as permitted by KRS 61.8101G.
Second.
City Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Mayor Taylor.
Aye. And we will not be making any decisions to come back out. Meeting's adjourned.